podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
This week on the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast, we review the entire squad, coaches, and what next season may bring. A Scarlets intervention is coming your way. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Now, normally I would start off by introducing each and every one of us, but before we start the podcast, we have something very important to discuss, and I want you to know we all love you, and this isn't us trying to hurt you. If I can draw the YouTube listeners to the screen, you will see what is HG Rugby's YouTube page. And in the last 6 weeks, he's produced 8 pieces of content, six behind a paywall. And now, to get those videos, you have to be a friend of Huw, which comes at a staggering cost of 99 pence a month. Some places, it's as high as £1.49 a month, and it's a problem. It needs discussing, and me and John, we've gone back and forth a few times. So, John, I know you've got a few words you'd like to say here.
Dear Huw, thank you for agreeing to attend this gathering. I know you were told it was a squad review podcast, but frankly, that was the only way we could get you to show up. We're here because we're worried about you. Used to be when we wanted to hear your voice, we'd call you up, but now we have to download one of your many, many podcasts just so that you don't have the time anymore. At first, the signs were subtle. You'd casually mention rugby in conversation. You'd watch the occasional match. You'd know who won the top 14, but things have changed. We notice that simple questions become impossible. We ask you what time it is, and you'll say, well, that's a really interesting question. Before I answer, I think we need to look at the broader context and perhaps compare how the French clubs have approached timekeeping over the last decade. A 5-minute chat became a 40-minute podcast. We remember when weekends were for friends and family. Now it's just 17 hours of non-stop rugby, 3 post-match interviews, and a documentary about a lock who retired in 1998. Final straw came when we realized you no longer consume any rugby content. You only produce it. The rest of us occasionally struggle to find things to talk about. You apparently wake up every morning and think, has anyone heard the untold story of a scrum coach from Béziers? No. Excellent. We're particularly concerned about your inability to encounter another human being without immediately identifying them as a potential podcast guest. At this point, we're fairly certain you've interviewed more people than you've had actual conversations with. Your loved ones miss you, Huw. We miss the old Huw. The Huw that could watch a rugby match without taking notes. The Huw who didn't refer to dinner with friends as content. Today, we ask you to consider a different path. A path where not every camera is switched on. A path where a statistic can simply be a statistic, rather than the opening chapter of a 6-part documentary series. We know recovery won't be easy. There will be setbacks. There will be moments when you hear the phrase emerging rugby nation and instinctively reach for recording equipment. But we will be there for you. Together. As friends. And if that doesn't work, we've arranged for your Wi-Fi to be restricted to highlights packages and cat videos. Thank you. Now, before we finish, Huw, we have one final question. Would you like to respond? Please keep your answer to under 90 minutes.
Well, if my best man speech at my wedding is anything like that, then that would be quite good. Well, John, I want to say that I hear you and I see you. And it is definitely true that when I meet someone, I consider whether or not they can be a podcast guest. I will take that feedback on board. However, other than that, I intend to change nothing about myself whatsoever.
Small steps.
More steps.
It's progress.
Also, please sign up to membership of my YouTube channel.
There it is.
Oh, I mean that was hard. That was really hard to hear. No, I do genuinely hope you take this on board. Okay.
To membership of Hugh's YouTube channel. To all current and future friends of Hugh. Nothing.
Okay.
I'm just me drinking. Okay.
Okay, and now that is over, and hopefully we'll receive results later in the year. We'll check back in. Don't worry about that. We are here for a season review, and don't know about you boys, but I really don't want to do this. You know, it's not great.
As always, Mark, we're here to provide a service. We are here to rate the Scarlet squad so that nobody else has to. And I like to think that after we've done this, nobody else will.
I mean, I would like to think that certain employed people by a certain business would, but you know, we can't say whether or not that'll happen or has happened. But yeah. So it's our is this annual now? Do we do this we've done this every year now?
We used to do it twice a year because we used to do it before the season, but then we thought, for God's sake, let's not do this anymore. So now we only do it after the season.
Oh yeah, it used to be so what was it? It needs to show up, is alright, safe, or I can remember them.
Point to prove, yeah.
Point to prove. Tommy Rogers was in that one year.
He was, and he proved a point.
He did. He proved a point that he was good enough to go nowhere. So, I'm assuming we're doing the same standard as usual, sharing the screen and whatnot.
Yep. Now, before we start, I do have a bit of a confession to make.
Oh, no.
So, in order to make this tier list, which I'm going to share on the screen for all of the wonderful YouTube people in a minute, I've got a little picture of each and every Scarlets player, and we take them and I drag them and I drop them into the tier that we agree as a unit, as a family. However, I have realized that the only saved images of the Scarlets players that I have are actually last season's squad. So I've made a note of all the ones who aren't there, and you know, if we want to discuss how Sean Evans has been getting on this season, then we can do that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Really good at Quinn's, fair play.
So, with that minor workaround that's needed, let's crack on. Now, we'll begin with, as always, explaining what the categories are, what the tiers are in this tier list. So, there are no mean categories. As always, if there's any Scarlets players or Scarlets dads listening, there are no mean categories. No one's getting lambasted here. There are 5 categories which I think neatly define each and every player in the Scarlets team. The lowest category is crossed the bridge. I think we can all think of one player who's going to be in that, and I think that we don't have to restrict it to being literal. We can interpret that in many ways. Cross the bridge into the other world. It can be that bridge that Thor uses to get to Earth. You know, any bridge that you like.
That was destroyed, wasn't it?
It was. I don't know. Probably. Anyway,
we can be at any point in the Marvel cinematic universe. It's, you know,
exactly.
It's the Bifrost. It's that he's crossed the Bifrost. Is the point?
The Bifrost. Thank you, John. I knew there was a reason you were here. So the next 2 categories, these are the ones that we get every single year. Is second lowest is We Go Again, which is, I think, self-explanatory. And then Done a Job. Again, I'd like to think self-explanatory. Now, we've got 2 brand new top tiers for this year. So we've got 5 tiers in total.
Is the top one really the top one?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm not comfortable with one player at least one player that needs to go in there.
So second on the tier list is Please Don't Get Injured, i.e. we literally can't cope without you. And I think there's going to be a few players in that. And then finally, with the toppest of the tippity top tier is he's been on the pod.
So it's impossible for someone like Kaz to get into the top tier.
Well, again, I think we're able to be fast and loose with not only reality, but also the space-time continuum and assume that he at some point will be on the pod. And so we can bank it in advance.
Yeah, like, maybe in the next month. Who knows?
Exactly.
Okay, seeing as though you have got the reins here, Mr. HG, where are we starting?
Oh, look, Ver for Fetus here. Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh,
Well,
is it a bin option? I don't want to see that. That hurts.
the bin option is crossed the bridge, Matt.
Get him straight in there then. No.
John knows. Pick a number between 1 and 15.
Or 12.
Oh, right. Okay, then. Well, there's only one place that we can start, and it's Edward James. For the Scarlets this season, which tier do you think that Eddie James should be in?
I mean, he should be. He's been on the pod, but he's not been on the pod. So please don't get injured. Pretty, please.
I'd like to aspire to having him on the pod. But please don't. I could see please don't get injured. I'm trying to think if there are, in order of centers that I wouldn't like to be injured, where would I put Eddie James?
Yeah, first. No, Christ, yeah, that's tough.
No.
That is a hard question.
He's one and two are just ridiculously hard to choose apart.
Well, on that note, then, shall we put, if I can find him, Joe Roberts in Please Don't Get Injured?
Boys, I'm just going to say to any of you listening, or any dads that are listening, more diversity in haircuts. This is an absolute nightmare trying to find lads who.
But he's changed his haircut through the season. He's gone more got wafty, wavy hair now.
It looks like Eddie James is sort of supporting the weight of the he's been on the pod column.
He's holding everyone up.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, everyone does
It
look
fits.
better when Eddie's playing. It's a good support player.
Found him. Right. So Joe Roberts is going in Please Don't Get Injured.
Yeah.
Do you think, because I think he's our top try scorer this season with 7?
Let's have a quick look.
Fairly sure. 6 or 7. He had
25, 26. Let's go all the way across.
Joe Roberts,
All the way down.
7 tries.
7 URC tries.
Yeah.
7 overall. None in Europe.
Double
Hey.
against the Ospreys, double against Edinburgh.
Has he been our best back this season?
Ooh.
I feel like I think I would rather. Oh, he's been the most consistent. He's been the most consistent back this season.
Oh. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I think Ellis deserves to be in that conversation.
Yeah, easy to forget about Ellis because he missed the end of the season with injury, so we haven't seen him in a little bit.
Joe, in terms of consistency, he sort of had a brain fart with his discipline the last couple of games. So I think there was 3 penalties he conceded against the Ospreys, one event becoming the yellow card, but he's definitely in there 100%. Who's played the most games. And I think I can see who's played the most games, and he's definitely not. Joe's played 17 times. This is a tough question. Ouch.
Well, while you think it over, shall we move on to the next player? Because for goodness sake, we don't want to be here all my life. So, Martin, please pick a number between 1 and 15.
2.
Okay. Here we go then. Let's go for Ryan Elias. Which category would you say that Ryan Elias was in?
I mean, he's more than done a job. I think this has been his best season in about 3-4 years.
I'd go with that.
better than Marnus this season, but obviously the Marnus last season is a different category. He was meant to be on the pod, but things happened and he wasn't.
Peek behind the curtain there.
Yeah, so maybe possibility he'll be back on the pod. He has been brought up as an option, so I think he could potentially go in there.
Jon and Huw, thoughts on Ryan Elias this season?
I think he's really had a return to form, and without obviously there was a drop off with Marnus, and then with him also finding form, not just with us, but getting back into the Wales conversation and getting some meaningful minutes off the bench for Wales as well. Like, I think you can put him up in please don't get injured. I think he's more than done a job for me.
I agree. I think he's in please don't get injured. I don't think he's had a single player of the match award, but I think that he's rediscovered some of his best form and he is rightly back into that Wales 23. Let's stick with another hooker then. We mentioned him in passing there. Marnus van der Merwe. What category?
Knettley Warthog.
The Knettley Warthog, yes. As he will forever shall be known. God, he's playing for Munster next season. Jesus. He must be reconsidering those life decisions.
Yeah, I mean, this is totally compared to how great he was last season, but I'd look at done a job.
This season, I agree that he's done a job. He can't go again.
He can't go again. Yeah, that's a good point. I do feel like his drop was so noticeable from last season.
Welcome to Scarlets' second season syndrome. Scarlets' second season syndrome.
Whoa,
it's a real thing.
No, you need to put Peel in there because it's through Peel we don't know if it's a total Scarlets thing just yet. But I mean, what would it be? Only 8 starts this year for Marnus, on 9 off the bench. I'm sure he was, total front runner last year.
He was arguably our best player last season.
Yeah, I could very comfortably say that. Let's have a look.
Minutes-wise, there wasn't actually that much between them. I think Marnus had 20 minutes fewer than Elias did.
So last season he started 14 games with 9 on the bench. So basically he had 6 less starts this year. So, that is a lot of rugby, when you look at it just from that perspective. Yeah.
I mean, including his rugby championship games last season, he had there's about 100 minutes playing for South Africa. So he had about 1,125 odd minutes for us last season.
Yeah.
And then
what is it? There's 21 minutes between him and Elias
this season. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and again, when you consider last season that he played so well for the Scarlets that Rassie Erasmus picked him for the Springboks. Rassie Erasmus was watching clips of the Scarlets.
Well, no. He was watching full games. Get it right. Otherwise, how would he have ever picked up that bloody line out in the middle of the bloody field? He never would have got that elsewhere.
I mean, he started 56% of the time. That's factoring in his South African games. He started 1 against Georgia, but this season to go under 50, I felt like at the very beginning of the season, it felt like it was still maybe his fitness wasn't really on show when he was playing. He started the 3 South African games.
I mean, when we talk about his minutes, Elias started 12 and was subbed twice. So basically,
Elias played 10 full 80s.
No, he started 12 games and he made 14 appearances.
Oh, it was a sub twice. You said he was subbed twice.
Okay, ambiguous wording. Okay, so you're taking 14 games and then you're taking 17 games. Obviously, I know 4 starts is what are we talking? Maybe 120 minutes. So considering having 7 more sub appearances for Marnus, I would still have expected him to have more minutes. Even with the ratio. So so Elias has played vast majority of the rugby when he's been on the park for us.
Yeah, I agree. Done a job for Manus. Where should we go next?
Why don't you pick, Huw? Pick a number from 1 to 15.
I pick number 9. So someone who's not on the list, who we need to talk about, is Dane Blacker. He's not in these pictures, but where would you say that Dane Blacker should rank this season? I think I know my answer.
I mean, crack on, John. Let you take the lead.
I mean, he is our most played scrum half of the season, even if it is only by 1 minute. I don't think I have a massive issue with a lot of his play style, with things like his kicking accuracy, his passing speed. And I think his game management is perfectly fine, but nothing has stood out to me as exceptional from Dane, I suppose, this season.
I agree. I think that he's had a lot of time on the pitch, and I don't think he's done anything particularly wrong, but he's not also done anything that's left me after the game. I've never thought during the season, God, Dane Blacker played well.
Yeah, I can't argue with anything. But quite clear.
It's for that reason that I think he has to go in We Go Again. Because when you're a Scarlet scrum half, you need to have a bit of something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking him on that done a job, we go again line. So yeah, I'm happy with We Go. Considering he is, in terms of our scrum halves, he is the 3rd most talented, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way.
You say he's the 3rd most talented. Do you think he's had the 3rd best season of the 3? Like, would you say Cawdor is above him or below him then?
I think Cawdor, you very much have moments where you're like, oh yeah, this is the guy. And then you have moments like, oh God. Because like his exits, no more. I can't watch him exit anymore. He needs to kick it further than 5 meters, please. But then he beats Cardiff on his own. So swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. His consistency where he is, his ceiling is so much higher. Like so much higher. But obviously, when you get to the sort of mid-30s, as we all know, things don't stay as consistent anymore, do they? Yeah, I think
it's doubtful enough. Yeah.
Okay, so with Gareth Davis, then, where do you want to put him? Done a job this season? I don't think he's in Please Don't Get Injured.
No, he's not in Please Don't Get Injured. Not after this season.
Okay. And then Archie Hughes has been on the pod twice, and he was absolutely fantastic both times that he was on. Shout out to Papa Hughes, who listens to the pod.
Yes, the Falcon was great on the pods, and I'll be honest, it's some of the best interviews we've actually done. The way he, openly speaks, he was really relaxed in them. If anyone hasn't listened to him, have a little search through. Just type Archie into our rap page, and you will happily find it. No, he's so laid back, and he's talking like you'd actually want, to see in an interview. Great, and his performance this year, I think he's had the best performance of our 9 this year.
Yep.
Northampton game, I think that was probably the stand-up performance.
Champions Cup Falcon, we have to call him. Scored against Poe and Northampton.
Yeah. So I think that's the standard that he hit. Obviously, he needs to keep it in that, and I think he can be even better again. Obviously, the last block was kind of weird with selection, but we are where we are. We can't change facts now. So boom.
Yep. And then John, your turn to pick a position.
Well, I'm going to go back into the forwards. I'm going to go for everyone's favorite position, blindside.
Blindside flanker. Okay. The wild animal himself, Tame Plumtree, the only man on the whole URC website whose profile picture is blurry. has been on the pod. Can confirm.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, he
yeah.
has.
What do you
And
mean? Oh yeah, you interviewed him, you idiots.
I know, that's what I mean. I forgot.
and despite wearing a bit of extra paint on his back, to cover the number 6 in his last game, he finished the Scarlet season incredibly strong.
Yep. He's just a bloody good rugby player, if you ask me.
He's too good.
Do you
Ridiculous.
think he's improved this season? Because I'm trying to think about when he jumped on the scene like 3 seasons ago now. 2 seasons, 23, right? He came.
I don't want to say the area I think he's actually improved in because people will laugh at me.
You're not going to say he's improved his discipline.
I think he has. I think his decision making is. I think if this was Tane last season, facing this, he would have had at least another 10 penalties and probably a few more, personal yellows along with the team ones.
I am standing up for that as well, to be honest. I do think his discipline has improved. I think there are aspects of his game that have slipped on some other points, but I genuinely do think his decision making has got. He doesn't really give away many breakdown penalties anymore, and that was his big thing. A lot of his mistakes now are. I've said this too many times now, but he plays on the edge, and the problem is we as a team have a discipline issue.
Yes, I have info on that for later on.
Yeah, but if you have a team that is giving away a lot of penalties, and then you get on warnings, and you have a player who plays on the edge a large amount of time, they are going to be they're going to be more susceptible to get yellows.
Well,
That's just how it is.
It's not just that. When you have the season we are having, and in a score early in the second half or late in the first half can be enough to write off the entire game, you've got to make those attempts because otherwise everything's gone.
Yeah.
So Jared now is he?
Jared Taylor, he's done a job for me.
Yeah, no, not quite enough to please don't get injured, but he's quietly gone
But
about.
He's not in our best 15.
No, I mean this year he's probably he's in 23.
Yeah.
I'd have him on the bench comfortably.
Yeah.
Whether that's the same next season is going to be interesting, but yeah, I'm very, very, very happy with Jared there.
Fair enough. Does Max Douglas count as a 6?
No.
He's had enough
played more games at lock.
Yeah, it's true. But one could argue that our best results have come with him at 6. Maybe not this season, last season.
So let's have a look. 7 starts at 6, and he's had 11 in the row.
Okay, you've convinced me. Anyway, Mark, it's your turn to pick a position.
Ooh, higher or lower?
Lower.
1.
Okay. Kemsley Mathias has been on the pod.
How many times now?
Twice?
Twice? Yeah, twice.
You've done him twice, haven't you?
I've done him twice.
Dirty bastard.
I'd do it again. I think he's great. I think he's clearly our first choice loose head, and there's no competition really to that title. And he's just really good at rugby. But he just has these off games at scrum time. It's really frustrating because he'll go 12 games with no issues at scrum time and then have one where the referee just goes, hold up, is that a Scarlets badge on your chest? I'm going to blow this whistle by you.
Honestly, with Kems, the way he scrummed, he is ideally, he's a great person to look at for your setup and, you're engaged and trying to, just enter the scrum battle. So he's absolutely brilliant at getting in there. Obviously, I know I've spoken on it previously, refereeing the scrum in general, not just our league, in every single league, internationally, everything is substandard. And it causes so many wrong decisions. But saying that, the Ospreys game, this last one down at the electric pop-up tent, was by far the worst performance I have ever seen Kemsley put in terms of scrummaging. It was non-existent, and he quite rightly was subbed off for 21-year-old Josh Morse.
It was the Ospreys game, and then the Northampton game was another nightmare game.
The Northampton game, the ref just wasn't having him. I don't think it was his fault, but he did get yellow cards in the first half and not come back on.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether it was his fault or not. The referee had that picture, and it's as simple as. And this was good coaching or good management from Puds at the time. You've got to change that picture, even if you think you're putting on a weaker scrummager. You've got to change something, and that's the price you pay sometimes. But yeah.
I'm just trying to think what else is around him in that situation. But Elias started both of those games.
Honestly, Matthias and Elias, that combination, scrummaging wise, is awesome.
You asked Tane, didn't you, John? You said, what are you taking, tap and go or scrum? And he goes, who's our front row? And you said Cams, and you said it's scrum.
Yeah. I mean, they, the boys behind him clearly back him to do a job, and so. Yeah, it is hard. You really do end up thinking it must come down to some sort of referee interpretation, or maybe it's just tactics of loose heads he's up against. Perhaps there is. I mean, Matt, you know more about that than either of us. Is there a rock paper scissors situation going where there's just a certain way that you can prep your bind if you're, driving more at 1 o'clock than 11 or something like that? Is that the kind of thing that's going to undo Kems's?
Well, as if he was tight dead, then yeah, that is something you can do. That's more when the tight dead starts angling in on you. You want to start walking to 1 o'clock as a tight dead. But realistically, the only thing you can do is improve his dialogue with the ref from that, because he's really, really quiet. Like I don't think I've seen him many times speak with the referee, and that is something that I think goes a massive, massive way for props. When the ref is against you the first time, have a little chat, and then the next one, so long as nothing was going wrong, just have that okay. Next break and play, happy with that, and just build in that sort of rapport, because that is massive, refs, and that is something that I think the whole team could actually work on.
Yeah, because outside of Josh. And I guess Elias, I can't really think of many forwards that we have where I would think that that's a strength, like ref communication in particular. I feel like I've seen Douglas have a go at it. Well, I mean, he's off now. I've seen him have a go at it a few times, but he never seems to get much change out of it when something goes at the line out. And you think, I always think it's a bit of a stereotype, I suppose, that Saffers are generally, pretty good at that sort of ref communication around the set piece. And, with Albert Vandenberg, in the building, you would have thought that's something that he'd be trying to get into the boys as well.
Well, if he was taking on the scrum, then, I would very much expect that. But here we are. It is something that's developed with Safas. I would very much like to see, in the off-season, just like Sevens, you pick one stadium, send a pack there, and literally have a scrummage competition. Everyone face everyone. Just make some league, and that would be massive. I think people would absolutely love it. It would create a lot of intrigue for scrummaging, and then into the season as well. I think there's some potential for some good content for there.
If we started that at an SRC level, proof of concept, develop it from there.
Yeah, I'm happy. Let's go for it. Let's try and do it.
We don't have a Pro Bowl like we don't have the basketball or baseball equivalent of that, or football or American football. So instead, just get all the URC teams right before the final kickoff. Get their first 8 on the pitch.
Well,
quick knockout tournament.
Watch the Bulls destroy everybody.
Well, yeah. But what we can do is we can make it a 2-day event. We can have day 1, all the scrummagers, and then day 2, we can't leave the backs out. Just let them play sevens with all backs. Let's try that. Let's see how fun and wild that would be.
You lost me there because I really thought you were going to say we can't let the backs lose out. Let's go then and have 7-man scrums the next day, 9 through 15. That would be good.
How are we going to set that one up? Oh, 2-4-1. Yeah, I think I prefer that for the backs. Try a 2-4-1.
There are worse ideas out there.
Anyway, I'm going to now go all the way back to number 15. Now, there's a lot of players to talk about here. There's a lot to pick from. Now, one person who's not in the deck is Jack Davis, and he's been on the pod.
He's been on the pod. He's been great every time he's been called upon. He should have had a few more games towards the end of the season. But yeah, I'd be very comfortable if he was wearing that 15 shirt come first game of September.
Blair Murray. What do you think he's been?
I feel like he's somewhere between done a job and please don't get injured. At the beginning of the season, he really looked like he was still carrying injury. It just didn't seem right. And then I guess it was after the autumn internationals, his form started to improve a little bit from there. And then
very
from
good game
Christmas
against the Bulls.
onwards.
I mean, it's hard to say because, this is another example of, second season syndrome and appeal.
John Fox and Sanjay says he should start for Wales at 15.
Yeah.
They said all of his pros outweigh his height, basically.
I think they just said he's better than Lewis Rees-Zammit.
I mean, pros definitely outweigh the cons. But, if we're talking the Wales 15, is that enough? I think
he's in our strongest 15.
Oh, 100%.
But if we're saying that we'd rather have Jack Davis at 15 than Blair Murray, is that what we're saying?
I would feel more comfortable seeing Jack at 15.
Play on the left.
Yeah.
Because he was brilliant last year on the left wing until he got pushed into full back. And he's still done really, really well then. But, left wing seems to be, we go back to, before the last season started and Carwyn sort of God rest his soul over on the Welsh pod now. What he said, 18 tries or something like that. And what was he, including disallowed, he'd have to double figures before Christmas or something like that. It was
no, he wasn't. But
yes,
it's a kind of rewriting history that I appreciate, but no. I think by his own lofty standards, you have to say done a job.
Yeah. It was because it was Wales that pushed him more into the 15 shirt than we did, and then
he played for Wales at 15 before he did for us. What other 15s do we need to talk about then? Who else has actually played 15 for us? Ioan Jones is another one not on this list.
Ioan Jones, yeah.
Ioan Nicholas.
Or we could do Ioan Nicholas, but Ioan Jones first. I'm
not sold. He's young. He'll have plenty of opportunities as they come.
Do we say go again because he was injured for most of the season?
Yeah, because what was it? He played, I think, 2 games for Quins early September, maybe October. Injured then till around, I think it was March. One more game for Quins and then straight in with us for a while. And
again, Sanjay name checked him, so he's a player to watch.
There were some games that he, obviously showed why we signed him and why he's in the position that he's in. But when he started, I don't think he's exactly hit the standards that Jack Davis showed earlier. So
he's had good moments.
Oh, very good moments. He's really, really accomplished under the high ball, which is great to see from your fullback. So
he only started Connacht away and the last game against the Dragons.
Yeah.
To be fair, and I felt like by the end of the Dragons game, he was. I felt like I could almost see an improvement in him from the beginning of the Dragons game to when he was hooked towards the end.
I feel like we've got to go again just because he was injured.
And he didn't exactly play much either.
No. So we go again for Ioan Jones. All right, Ioan Nicholas.
Across the bridge.
We all know we've been building for this moment.
I mean, not technically, he is still here next season, so...
He can go again.
He can go again, but...
It's easy to forget that 2 seasons ago, he was the player of the season.
Yeah, it's well, let's not remember that season because that wasn't a great
Better than
run.
the season that we just had.
I mean, he's still 28.
Oh
You
my
can't
God.
say that he's like, hey, me and him are similarly challenged. I have a lot of sympathy.
Shall we say we go again? Just because every one of us will be delighted if we're sat here in a year's time going, bloody hell, Johan Nicholas has had an incredible season. He's scored 20 tries and he's made that 15 spot in his own, and he's in contention for a Wales call up. Who among us will actually be disappointed with that?
I would have put money on the Euro Millions a few times during the year, but no, like it's easy to forget that Johan was 17, when he started his first Scarlets game. So he has been with us for about like 10, 11 seasons. For a lot of pro players, that's more than they'll get. A lot don't get a tidy pro contract till they're like 23, and then they're done by 30, 31. So it's a huge credit to the man himself that he's had this sort of longevity to hit the standard that he did so young. And he has, I wouldn't say he's any worse than he was when he was a kid. It's just the fact that, you look at the quality in the outside backs around him, and that's where, these sort of comparisons have grown over the last couple of years.
And I would say, I imagine that he is quite a good influence to have around the squad as well. Like just someone with that experience that he's got. I
He's
feel
team
like
dad.
I feel like he has enough goodwill to say it's we go again, because that's not the player that we've been accustomed to seeing. And he deserves, I believe, he deserves a chance to redeem himself.
I'm trying to remember when. I think it may have been the Southern Kings, and he was on the wing, and his pace, like I, well, I haven't seen that pace in a few seasons, but he was going really, really well. And
The thing
as
is,
he first started,
what has to happen for him to get back in the team, though? How many players need to get injured?
4, I want to say. I'll have to have a quick.
It's not that far out of the realm of possibility that he could be wearing 22 or 23.
So
Ideally 23, obviously, but like.
Okay.
it depends on where we're seeing Yori Badham and Callum Woolley, both who have played games. Obviously, Yori's played in a couple. Callum got that little cameo against the Bulls, which still amazed me. So we are talking, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the 7 back 3 players if you're including those 2 youngsters, and I'd probably be definitely including Yori. So if we say 100%, there's 6 back 3 players in front of him. We are talking 3, 4 injuries.
I think it's easier for him to get on the bench, though. I think he's more likely to sit on the bench than Woolley is, for example.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like starting is one thing, but like getting on the bench, I think he only needs.
Like I wouldn't be surprised to see him, starting during an international period, because I'd like to think that we could keep our boys fit, but things don't always go that well.
Who else has played 15 for us this year? We've had Blair, we've had Johan Jones, we've had Johan Nicholas, we've had Jack Davis.
Bear with.
Tommy played fullback this year.
Blair, Jack, Johan Ellis played a game.
Ellis. All right. Ellis, please don't get injured.
Yes.
He's definitely in our best 15, and he should probably start for Wales as well.
Can we put him on He's Been on the Pod if we're saying it's aspirational? Because I feel like his performance has been
that good.
I feel like he's in what is a crowded field. I feel like he's been our best winger.
Yeah. He had a tough start to the season where he wasn't playing very well, but then there's been other games where he was like the only player who played well. So he redeemed it. And I think that you should be
rewarded.
I don't think you should be marked down for starting badly and then getting better. I think that's mean. I think so. People might say it's recency bias, but
that's how you want everyone to go, though. You want to get
Exactly.
better as the season goes on. You want to peak
Exactly.
at the end.
So next up, where do we want to go next? I think, John, back to you.
Let's go boiler room.
Ooh.
All
Well,
locks at once, or are we gonna divide 4 and 5 up?
No,
Oh,
we'll do
no.
we'll do all the
Not
locks.
doing that.
So Jake Ball, he can't go again. He's retired for the 5th or 6th time.
I mean, for the purpose of this season, I think he needed to be please don't get injured. But
Yeah, true. At one point, we were calling for him to play for Wales.
yeah, he was looking really good. That was around the Six Nations, was it?
Yeah, it's just ahead of the Six Nations.
Who knows that was the last time we'd really see him. Sad. And yeah, he's in between done a job and please don't get injured for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm trying to think of standout performances. I remember him being good in the Cardiff game before Christmas.
Yeah.
Um, I remember him putting in a good shift against Poe. I just remember being impressed by his work rate at the time, and actually he had a full game against Munster, and I remember watching him play that game and think maybe he's not actually 34. But I don't think mm, over time he's done a job for us. But 4 minutes or 4 or 5 minutes, like coming off the bench in the Leinster game, is like a very unfair way for him to have ended his career with us.
Yeah, agree. Where else? Sam Lousy? He's got to be don't get injured. He has to be.
Yeah. The way we're lining up,
Yeah.
he's our best lock, which
Yeah.
like don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid to say, but looking at who's next to him is really uncomfortable, the gap as it stands.
Yeah, agree. Max Douglas. He has been on the pod.
Boom. Early on, wasn't it?
It was early days, yeah. He wasn't the most
Hang
chatty.
on. Was he your first player interview?
I'm not sure. I think Carwin did him.
Yeah, he did. Because I can remember I was on the bloody school run at the time, and I almost kind of popped in because I was like on.
He was early. He was first or second, for sure.
Great way to be remembered.
And he was our top line-out taker this season. He was also our top penalty conceder. Nobody really talks about that.
Yeah, despite that, I am really concerned at what our line-out looks like next season without him. Like, he's so influential.
Top line-out catcher, top line-out stealer. And I think he's a line-out caller as well.
He is.
So with him gone, we could be in trouble.
But Tainer's done that job, and I think it's more because he has been away with Wales that he wasn't given that job when Via left. Because, quite frankly, he's a great line out forward. He has been. Obviously Coxon, who we've had a few fleeting images of, has put in, some good line of performance. I believe you said it was Lions.
Yeah, Lions, he looked good.
So I think that role, as in who that that person is, kind of interchangeable as long as we've got those behind to support. And we've still got McLeod, Taylor, Lousy, Plumtree, everyone around. If one of them steps up to be that number one, then someone else will come in under, or if Coxon moves in, or whoever.
Someone we forgot about when we were talking about 60s and has played in the second row as well is Tristan Davis. He has to go in, we go again.
Yeah.
Has to.
Like, the fact we forgot about him kind of sends him there.
Yeah.
He didn't. He can't have broken 80 minutes, can he, on the season?
Yeah, he started a couple.
Started a couple.
Let's have a look. Where is he? I'm on the wrong. Every time I go to look, I'm on the wrong.
Well, whilst you look it up, let's just keep on going. So
88 minutes, he said. Yeah.
Jack Price.
He's been on the pod.
Has he?
Yeah, I interviewed him. I think it was this last summer, because I can remember talking to him about Ellis being in the squad, and there was a nice bit of banter for there. Brotherly love is what we call it.
Okay, so
That kind of stops us from talking about his actual performance. So yeah.
okay, all right. Moving swiftly on then. Mars, I think it's your turn to choose a position.
Well, I can only go higher now. So 3.
3. Okay then. 3. Big Hesity, Henry Thomas.
Oh my God.
Great bloke.
No, we didn't do Hepburn in one.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Done a
Wow.
job.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
Done a job.
I mean, there's Sock and Josh Morse as well, but I think we'd like to think we only had Chems for most of the season.
Yeah,
I
okay.
think
So
Kem started like all but one. No, he didn't.
No,
Wait, no.
Alex started a few, but Chems was clear.
What's the
okay,
minutes
so
difference on that?
Alec Hepburn's done a job. And then Josh Morse is please don't get injured, I think, for his development.
Yeah.
And then Sock is done a job.
Oh, we go again.
Okay. But then Hesity is in we go again for me because there's just been something off with him all season.
Yeah, I think, I'll be honest, I don't think any of our tight heads are going to escape this grouping just because of their respective seasons for each respective reason. You know, there is something clearly off with Henry this year. You know, obviously, I know he wasn't involved in this last summer tour because of injury. How much has that has carried through it? Because he was one of the most penalized tight heads
Yeah.
in the league, hitting double figures. That's not his game. Hawk, he's not back to pre-injury level. He's deserving to be in the squad. Picking up that 18 shirt here and
Archer
there.
has been on the pod.
Yeah, he will automatically be the number one because he's been on the pot.
Yeah, okay. I forgot about that because he loves his mother's cooking.
He does love his mother's cooking.
Yeah. But, like his issues are he just can't stay fit for whatever reason. Whether it's an actual injury or illness related, I've no idea. But it's like, was it 3 games, I think, is the most he's played for us consecutively, which is, a huge issue. Those starts.
What other tight heads? Gabe
Gabe
Hawley.
Hawley, yeah, he done a job because he's barely played. Like, I would like to see us use Gabe a lot more next season, especially if Hawk isn't picking up over the summer and into next season.
Okay, I'm going to go for. Let's go back to the centres because centre is definitely the position that we've spoken most about this season. So Johnny Williams. I'm always too mean to Johnny Williams, so you two have to pick.
If you were too mean to him, I think we put him in done a job. Like, compared to seasons gone by, I don't think we've really seen him that much. Yes, I'm trying to find him on here. There he is. So 11 starts, so half a games. So
Yeah, that feels like a long time ago. Has he had much of a look in under Nige? I don't think so.
Well, Eddie, one sec. Eddie, James, Max, Joe, Robert, and obviously Hawkins for other reasons have all played more minutes than in this season. So if we're not including Joe Hawkins because of the 10 issue, he is our least played senior centre.
Wow.
I don't think he's. I don't think he's kicked on. I don't think he's improved from last season.
I mean, I don't think he's hit the same heights as last season. It's not even about kicking on now at his age. It's consolidating your power.
I think I want to put him in we go again because I think he needs to.
You mean?
Yeah, because I'm mean. But it's always been the issue that Johnny Williams has always had. We've said it a million times on this pod. He came to the Scarlets to be Wales's starting 12. And now he's our second choice 12 at best. Maybe even third choice.
If we have a full fit, if Sammy is fit, then what choice is he actually?
Even if you stick him over to 13, are we putting him above Max?
Or Joe?
Never above Joe. That's not the question.
I think you are for seniority and leadership, but
it depends on the team. Then you're talking a whole team decision. But
he has been captain
isolated,
at times this season.
Yeah, he has. You can't.
It did not go well.
Captain of the cool club as well, isn't he?
Yeah, boss, chairman of the cool kids table.
One thing you do have to give him is he did play, even if he didn't have that much game time overall. He did play, maybe not counting the Zebra game, but he did play against Cardiff away in the Ulster game and a Fog Bowl.
Okay,
so
right.
we picked up points.
Yeah, I liked. Now I'm thinking on him a little bit more. In Fog Bowl in particular, he was really good. In like,
how could you see?
It is,
yeah, you know?
It is in the maturity he brought in like a very bizarre situation, and as captain, he performed well in that game.
Yeah, fair.
That's not enough.
Does that promote him to done a job? Has he done a job just because of that? Maybe.
Let us know.
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
Know.
Max Page. Ooh, that's a tough one actually. Is Max Page in our best 2023?
I think he's our ideal number 23. I really think he has that X factor. And
calling Nige, go 6'2" for God's sake.
Yeah, you can obviously you can stick him and 13 and out or 11. So he covers the outside backs, which is great. And what was it? What was the try that never was?
Against Zebra.
Just that in moments. I mean,
shout out Papa Page, who also listens to the pod.
How many times have we seen over his very, very young career him just pull out try scoring or line breaks assist? It's just ridiculous.
His highlights reel already is ridiculous. Over his whole career, if you just play back all of his tries, they're all amazing.
There was one I was at the park for. I think it might have been Zebra or Benetton, where he took it from the halfway line and he just ran through everyone.
Yeah, Zebra. Yeah, he got the assist off Eddie James. I remember.
It's just the way he's able to just beat defenders that easily, and decision making. Okay, sometimes the kick isn't on or whatnot, but we saw that with Steph Evans, and he worked for years. And I think Max is going to be a level above, at least. So yeah, I'm very happy with. Please don't get injured there.
Didn't he score that almost like BLBRA-esque try against Glasgow when Sammy kicked? Was it Sammy that sort of cross-kicked and the ball bounced and ended up beyond the line, and he was just the first player that could sprint to get there to tap down?
So he did score against Glasgow. The second try, I can't remember. We're talking November now. I'm struggling.
I just remember looking at the highlight reel of that game in particular, just to watch Sammy's kicking. And I just can't remember if it was him that scored that.
I think the main things I remember from that game was being so happy that Jack Davis and Yori Baden was starting and Kaz was getting, named in the 23. Same as Gabe McDonald as well. It's great to see us actually using the academy boys. All should have seen more game time.
Yeah,
all of them.
Just looked it up. It was him because it was only him and Captain Josh who scored in that game. So yeah, it was him that dotted that down. But
okay,
I think like the biggest barrier to Yo and Nicholas getting more game time is Max Page, because I think they're both the well designed 23 wearers in the squad now.
Yeah. Wingers. So Tommy Raj, we all know what's happened to him.
He's not. We don't even need to put him on there, do we? Boo.
It's just factually what's happened. We've done Blair, we've done Ellis. Tommy Lewis has had like one game.
He said more than one. Not many.
He,
This
More than one.
this podcast has mostly been you two Googling how many games the players have played, to be honest with you.
It's not YouTube. I tell you it's not YouTube. Where is he? So Tommy Lewis started 4 and
Wow,
one sub.
that is a lot more than I thought.
So let's
had a
have
full 80 against Bordeaux.
Tommy Lewis? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. You spoke to him.
Yeah, he
You-
was
you
there,
had-
but he didn't play.
Yeah, he did. He started.
What?
We had a
Okay.
really heavily rotated team against Bordeaux.
We did indeed. Let me
Well,
go.
anyway, so where's he going?
Where
well-
is he going?
I mean,
It's a toss up between we go again and done a job for what he's been asked to do this season. I think he's done a job, but for the season that he had 2 years ago before the injury, I think is we go again. So I can't see him breaking into our first choice back 3 now. So I think this is about what we're going to be seeing from now on. So I think done a job.
yeah, I'm trying to think about who's
Yeah.
ahead of him. And yeah, I'd rather see Ellis or Blair before
Feels like Cal Woolley's ahead of him,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Feels like that, doesn't it?
Steph Evans? Oh, no, he doesn't play for us no more.
Well, he had a really great start to the season. He didn't start the first game. I'll be honest, he was quite instrumental in Quinn's winning quite a few just through defense, if you could believe that. They had one of the best defenses in the league, up to second at one point. I want to say that was around December time, and he got. I can't remember if he got injured for him, but he didn't play much after January. So, and that coincided with Quinn's season kind of flopping. So, I say please don't get injured.
Okay. Oh, we do have Hock in here. Huh, how about that? So, Dan Davis, we haven't done yet.
He's on We Go again, I think. It's not that I still feel bad for him because I don't think Dan Davis is fundamentally like a bad player.
He's a bit Dane Blacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stinky's a good guy, but
Lovely
it's
guy, can
hard.
vouch.
Again, it's looking at who we have available, and then the performances he puts on when he's on.
Hang on a
the field.
minute. He's been on the pod.
Yes, he has. I interviewed him.
There you go. Save
Love
the
Dan
bell.
Davis. Should start every game.
Best 7.
Captain Josh, please don't get injured.
He's been on the pod.
I interviewed him after Northampton Saints. Does that count as being on the pod?
Where did you upload it?
On the YouTube channel, but it
Which
did not go
one?
up as an audio.
Mm.
So the being on the pod has to be audio specific.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think please don't get injured for Captain Josh.
So we've given him a barrier, and we're going to say you can break that glass ceiling. You just got to say yes.
We did give Ellis me. He's been on the pod, even though he hasn't been on.
Yeah. But
Oh yeah, it was aspirational. Yeah.
All right, Captain Josh, you've been on the pod.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Who else haven't we done? Fletcher Anderson.
We're into 8 territory now. I mean, best.
Can we put
player.
him on? If Josh can go on, he's been on the pod.
He feels like a good aspirational pod. Oh, Fletch.
Wait a second. Now I'm realizing that this is not just us saying, "Look, we interviewed these players." It's us trying to manifest interviews with more
Yeah.
players.
You know
No,
what?
look,
I
I don't think it's particularly interesting for us to say that Fletcher Anderson is our player of the season. Has to be.
I think we're gonna have to compile a list now, and instead of saying, do you have anyone available for us this week, or these are who we need, so that we are not liars and the boys get the correct ranking.
Yes.
Please accommodate.
You're not aware, but you have actually committed to this technically. So please make it happen.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is
This is
legally binding.
This is a legally binding tier list.
Exactly. So Fletcher Anderson, like I said, any reason to not say that he's player of the season, other than he wasn't there at the start?
He didn't play every game, did he? Then he can be player of the season if you don't play the most games. That'd go to Henry, I believe.
I'm not saying that he should not be player of the season or anything like that, but I would give honorable mention to Jack Davis. I think in terms of like breakthrough player of the season or something like that, I've just been really impressed with everything he's done.
Oh, I'm trying to think now. Who did we give breakthrough player of the season to? Oh, because it was someone that hadn't played much. I can remember thinking it should have been Jack. But he did get a different award. I think he got Academy Player of the Season. No? Yes.
Not Academy player anymore.
Not now.
Not anymore.
No.
Signed a proper
Big boy.
contract. Good boy.
Okay. So 2 left. Well, 3 left.
We haven't done Callum Willie, have we?
Okay, Cal
Did we?
Woolley.
Well, we haven't done most of the wings. We haven't done Yori either. And he played more than Callum.
I think they're all in done a job.
Yeah, so...
I can't think of any poor wing performances.
It's our most stacked position, arguably, so you'd hope not.
Yeah. Oh, Gabe McDonald had 2 games off the bench
done
as
a
well.
job.
Done a job.
So, to me, I think that just leaves us with the fly halves.
Yes. So, and we're apparently, because he's not been named in the centres, we're putting Joe Hawkins in here.
Yep.
So, I mean, if we're excluding Billy McBride, because 3 minutes just isn't enough,
Yeah.
we've got 4.
Hey, he did a job in those 3 minutes. Did he know he missed touch?
So, in order, should we go, what was it? So, it's Sam Costello, Joe Hawkins, I want to say Ellis Price had his game before Kaz.
Ellis Price has not played for us this season.
Yeah, he's had
He
his
has. He has.
In what game?
He was on the bench for Cardiff, I believe.
He didn't get on though.
And then he came on
He came on for Ospreys.
Ospreys, yeah. Because he played the following day for Quins against Llandovery, and boom.
Okay. He's done a job then.
Yeah.
Sam Casello is the most please don't get injured player imaginable. Please don't get injured. And then Kaz is in please don't get injured again for the
being on the pod, because I think I can get that one to happen soon.
Okay. Kaz is in being on the pod. And then Joe Hawkins. Has he done a job?
He's been playing out of position and he hasn't been god awful. So yeah, it has to be done a job.
I think so as well. I think he's actually, I really don't want him to be our third choice 10 or second choice 10, but you can't deny he has improved.
I mean, the way I'm thinking about it is that if he did get injured in this last block, we would have been better off. And again, that's not meant to be disrespectful. It's just having a 10 at 10 is preferable to everything.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So have we forgotten anybody then? We definitely will have.
So squad, who's left us? So Alec, Marnus, Jake, Max, Ben Williams. Did he play?
No.
I think he played 1. Tom Rogers. No. You might want to check that again, my friend.
What did he play?
Because let's have a look. It was early season. He was on the bench for first game Lions. No, and he was on the bench for Stormers. Came on in both.
Well, they were 2 defeats, and the Stormers we got nilled.
Dan Gemin as well. He played that 1.
I mean, we had our guest locks. We talked about Cuxon. We didn't talk about Groves and Cummins.
Done jobs.
It's all you can do, really, isn't it?
Kirby.
Kirby,
Done the
yes.
job. He's back playing in MLR now for Old Glory. Scored for Old Glory at the weekend.
Nice. He was in Miami, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, now he's Old Glory.
Yeah. Did Rob Evans follow him, or is he back over you with
I've got no idea what's happening with Rob Evans these days.
Oh, shame. George Roberts done a job in the one game.
Well, we're going to talk about him later on. Okay, let us know in the comments who we forgot. So talk about coaches now. We're going to go from top to bottom. Okay.
Is there a top?
Nigel Davis.
There's a bottom.
These ones. Well, let's grade these like school grades. A, B, C, D, E, F. Nigel Davis.
Are we doing plus and minus?
Yep.
I mean, I'm on a C to C minus.
Yeah, I was thinking D.
Really?
Really good at the beginning. Yeah, but like
that's why I'm on pushing to C minus, because it's like the drop off in the last two games. And the whole Woolley incident where he was the only person that wanted him to play, it doesn't give good vibes.
I think it's walking back on the comments on Hawkins.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the more time he had with him in training, he could start to see, I can see the 10 that's there, but it needs nurturing. And maybe in a season or two, we'll be eating all of this criticism about Hawkins and Nige and Dwayne putting a lot of effort into trying to cultivate that in him. But right now, it's very hard to see that. And I think if you're picking a team and you're consistently putting a 12 at 10, it's very hard to give you more than that.
It's funny because he came in after the Dragons game. Okay, technically after the Poe game. And if we say the Dragons point was the low of the season, which is what we said at the last podcast, by the time we played the Dragons again on the last day of the season, how much better were we?
I mean,
like it would have taken effort to be that bad again.
But I think we kind of showed it against the Ospreys, Cardiff. Bulls game was great. Bulls game was great. But those 3 games in the last 4, it felt so bad. Like even winning against Cardiff felt like we're playing shit. So there's no doubt that we did improve at first. Those, what was it, 3 games? So what? Northampton, Ulster, Benetton.
Yeah.
Connacht was a thing. Edinburgh was okay, but then outside of the Bulls, then it was just more or less.
Leinster as well was okay.
Yeah, I think it was more status.
I'm on C.
I'm on C minus. John's on D. I think C minus is the middle ground there, isn't it? What's the word for it? Mean? No. Well, a mean works. Yeah.
If we'd kept the performances from the sort of Northampton level, I'd be on like a comfortable B plus, but the drop off I think is just too much.
Yeah.
Dwayne Peel.
I mean, there's no grade. There's like not applicable.
Yeah, pick out something that's gone well.
The Ellis Me try against Ulster when he was supposedly in charge of the attack.
The Glasgow game.
Glasgow, yeah, that was good.
Glasgow felt like we had Sammy and he could execute the game plan, but without.
The more it goes on, like this whole thing with Sammy, the more I'm like, whose game plan is it?
Oops.
I wouldn't put that much. I know what you mean, but I don't think Sammy is designing
the attack
that.
was non-existent in the last 3 games.
But we saw it with Wales as well. When you put Costello in there, it changes everything because of how he plays. And I suppose we saw it to an extent with Kaz as well. We
Yeah.
look totally different with a real 10. Again, no disrespect meant to Hawkins, but having a 10 play 10 changes how your system looks.
I
is that an
do.
excuse for Peel or?
Well, no, because the rest of the team was still shit, as in the performances, the all round. Like, nothing was going right. If as a head coach, if you're saying, "Oh,
We watched a Scarlets team whose attack was pick and goes. How does a Scarlets legend in Dwayne Peel coach a Scarlets team whose attack is pick and goes?
I want to know who's coaching the pick and goes, because apparently we don't have a forwards coach."
Well, we'll come to that in a second, but before we get to that, Jared Payne. So in the past, Mart, we've said that Jared Payne wasn't necessarily the problem with the Scarlets. However, I've been having a think, and I've been having a read.
A read?
A read of the stats. So I deep doved Scarlet's penalty stats.
Did
this
you
season.
also deep dive, what was it, Clermont and Ulster from years ago?
And
No.
I counted up all the stats that we had this season. I have no idea what you're on about, Mark.
Where he was before.
Where we were conceding our penalties, and we've conceded 2/3 of our penalties, 3/4 of our penalties. No, it was 2/3 of our penalties we conceded in our own half. And when you consider how much time we spend in each area, it's basically the closer to our own try line we get, the more penalties we give away. And some people might be saying, "Oh, that's obvious, isn't it?" But Glasgow give away more penalties in the opposition half than in their own half. No, top of the league. So that would be why. And then we were the only team to get penalised more than 200 times. And 3/4 of those, 150, came on defence. And then if you look at what kind of penalties we were giving away, falling on the wrong side, we were the most penalised team in the league for. Being offside, we were the most penalised team in the league for. We were the most penalised for line-out offences, but in real terms, that was only 11 penalties. And given that our line-out was quite good, I'm willing to let that slide. Then killing the ruck, we were 6th in the league. Scrum penalties, we were 6th in the league. Foul play, we were 6th in the league. So the two kind of standout ones are wrong side and offside is where we gave away most of our penalties. And then you add in most penalised team in the league, and 3/4 of those were on defence. And the closer to our own try line we get, the more penalties we give away. That all suggests that penalties are a symptom of the defence.
You can't argue that. Like, I mean, it kind of goes back to when he first signed on, because he first signed on as an attack coach, and then sort of moved to half attack, half defense. And it kind of feels like he neglected the defensive side, because last season went pretty well. It was as if, okay, the defense will carry on from where it was. I'm going to focus back on attack now and just shit at the fan. I don't know whether or not, well, I do think that knowing this was going to be your last season, knowing you had a job lined up back in Ireland, I think that plays a massive part in, how much attention that you're going to bring to your role, how much energy, do you really, really need? Like last season, he needed success. He needed last season to show, the sort of coach he is, to be in a negotiating position and go, look, this is what I'll be able to do. This year, there's been no pressure whatsoever, and everything's just fallen apart.
I could only echo what you've said, Huw, in that when you think about falling on the wrong side and giving away offside penalties, it just suggests porous defense, scrambling, backtracking, and a lot of those penalties will come when your defense just isn't set properly.
And the other thing is that there's no, despite what some people might think, like Hezity and Kems have given away a few penalties at scrum time. As of all of our props, Max Douglas has given away the majority of those line-out penalties. But like, when you break it down, it's like everybody's giving away the same number of penalties. It's not just one player who's a constant problem. Everyone's getting penalised all the time. Like it's a team-wide problem.
Then it's a culture problem inside, isn't it? And if your defense coach isn't managing that,
I mean, I think some of that has to be put on to the S&C coach as well, because if you don't have fit enough players, you're not going to get them to run the defense right either. When we talk the amount of defensive sets you do play on transition ball, you need everyone to be fit to just to get back into that defensive line. So obviously some part of the blame does need to go there, because I know there were concerns when Shane Carney was first even announced, because I can remember you saying how something about Al-Safan saying, oh, I can't remember, I think it was the Stormers, but being something like 50 points down and run off their feet within like 60 minutes. And I don't think our fitness has been more than just about good enough in a lot of games. I don't think anyone has been particularly exceptional.
Mm.
When we're seeing players, around the 60, 70-minute mark, properly cramping up and needing treatment is just look at Tommy Rogers. And I know he's going, so we won't have to deal with this, but how can wingers are normally your 80-minute men? And the amount of times he's subbed off, it does make you think there's a fitness issue. And it wasn't just him; you could see it across the park when breaks and plays. Like it wasn't different players here and there. You saw the same outside backs. It was just a symptom of what seems to be a wider problem.
Yep. So I think it's got to be an F for Jared, I'm afraid.
Yeah, worst defense in the league. Whether his actual role says attack or not is another question.
I can't disagree.
Albert Vandenberg.
I will.
The line out is the best thing about us, arguably.
Yeah.
Every player that I've spoken to has spoken incredibly highly of Vandenberg without being asked to. Like they volunteer that the line out is his success. And Tane specifically said it was a combination of him and Max Douglas working together, creating it and making it as effective. And so when players are just sort of volunteering that apropos of nothing, I think it speaks to a lot. And like you said, it was by far our strongest. I mean, even at some points, like I would say that opposition lineouts were a more useful attacking set piece for us than our own scrums at points. Like,
Yeah.
it's I think it's really hard it's very hard to oversell the impact that he's had this season.
Did you get an A?
I give him an A.
I'm on a B, to be honest, because I just don't feel like giving anyone an A.
I mean, I'm B plus, just because we did concede the most line-out penalties. There needs to be something in there. I would assume that's something he would be very annoyed at, with line-out being his baby.
Yeah, but it's like 11 over 18 games.
It's,
And I'd like to know what the breakdown for those are as well. Like how many of them are jumping across, how many of them are taking an arm in the air, because
I
that
would
would
guess
suggest
that a lot of them would be taking an arm because we steal that many lineouts. I think a lot of them would be taking.
well, and how far does a line-out offense go? Does it extend into the mall?
I think it
No, no. On the stats
Yeah,
that I've got, mall offenses of their own category. So yeah, okay. So Albert Vandenberg is the top one. Emir Phillips.
I look at our scrum. I think year on year, other than bringing Henry in last season, I think he was the difference maker. We've gone worse. So I don't think anything. I think an F is what it is. He has shifted to doing a lot more academy work, and seeing as we've supposedly signed a new scrum coach, I think that's indicative that we've realized this. So yeah, I don't think he would, argue either. So yeah, I can't see anything other than an F.
And then finally, Bradley Davis.
Well, if you talk to Scott Baldwin, apparently our attacking rucks have become more efficient over the season because of Bradley. But I've got no evidence to say he's done a good job. I've got no evidence to say he's done a bad job. So I think D is where I land on that.
Yeah,
D for Davis.
D for Bradley Davis. No, I'm splitting the difference between B for Bradley and D for Davis and saying C because, well, no, with the amount of falling over the ruck and things like that, like it's not ideal. But
But
I still
again,
think the
content.
majority of that comes down on defense more than would come down on ruck skills.
I've got no evidence in front of me to say that he's done a particularly good job.
Yeah.
To be honest. So that's all our coaches.
Are we not grading Cubby?
Scouting.
Recruitment.
No.
I feel like recruitment was a good win this year.
Our recruitment is generally quite good. Do you want to grade Sneds for the kick-in? Kicking at times was really good. At times. Obviously, it depends who's playing. The one thing that you have to say is that Hawkins' goal kicking was not good.
So he is still transition coach, and we have seen a lot of players break through as well. So if we take that into consideration, I'm up in C plus, B minus.
Yeah, probably. So that's all the coaches. And that just leaves us to talk about the recruitment.
Yeah, recruitment.
So at the moment, we've got confirmed signings of Corey Domachowski, Harvey Cuxon, and John McGee. And George Roberts, sorry. We believe that Grace Cullen is coming, and we think we're getting another second row as well.
John McGee. McKee. There's a few academy boys supposedly signing new contracts as well. Not new contracts.
Talk about the first team signings that we've made. I don't know, Mark. I think you're the one to talk about Domachowski.
I don't think he was ever. I can't say I don't think he's ever deserving because the pool was quite shallow. But for him being an international, I don't think that's where his level ever was. Like the fact that he was starting over Chems, it still shakes me a bit. Looking at I don't watch many Cardiff games. I'll watch the 10-minute highlights. I won't watch them all the way through. But watching the quarter final on the weekend, and to think that Barrett or Southworth are deemed better. I mean, I think they've made a pretty bad decision, but they're banking on future potential more than what's already consolidated. He's a good scrummager. More than comfortable URC Champions Cup sort of level to play in, come and play in that sort. He's probably not going to be a starter, but who knows where, with injuries and whatnot. I'm happy with him. If he's coming in as what I think he is, as a third, behind Chems, who's out and out number one, Josh, who is, the plan to give him a proper. That's what I think. And I think we give breakthrough play to Josh Morse because he's barely played. But yeah, hopefully we are focusing on giving Josh that number 17 shirt. Obviously, a few number ones here and there, and then Corey in to rotate. Maybe when Josh needs a couple of games to do a bit more analysis, a bit more work-ons. I think that works out brilliantly, and he's more than capable of doing that. I'm happy with him signing. I think it works well with the group that we got, and it also allows Sock, who has barely played any rugby and has really gone backwards, to go and play some SRC rugby and hopefully pick up back where he was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think the competition. I'll be interested to see by the time we get to the end of next season between him and Chems where the balance of power lies. because I think that will tell us a lot.
I'd keep an eye on Josh Morse. I really, really would, because I would not be surprised to see him in the Wales World Cup squad.
Okay. John Miggy, I think, is going to be a good backup to Elias. I think that's right. I think, a squad player at Leicester probably is good enough to be second choice at any Welsh region easily. And so he's probably the one where I'm like, yeah, okay. We'll see what he's about.
We have good pedigree with taking sort of Leinster's third, fourth choice players in positions and turning them into worldies. So two for two would be nice. But by all accounts of everything that I've read about him, is that he seems to have been thought of very highly and has left purely because he's just not getting game time.
Yeah, he's playing. Yeah, but he has played this season, but he's just, behind a couple.
Yeah.
Harvey Cookson, we spoke about him plenty of times. We're happy with that one. It's a little bit alarming that a guy that we got on loan last season, has barely played for Bath, is now going to be probably de facto starter coming into this next season.
Still waiting to see on that, but given his age profile, knowing that he is a Scarlet, we saw the photos. We haven't seen the photos of James Ratty yet, but we know he was a Scarlet as a kid, no matter how much he denies it.
He got Ospreys Player of the Season as well.
That must hurt inside really deeply.
Damn. His dad didn't go to the award ceremony. I'm proud of you, son. Well done. George Roberts, you're a big fan of his.
Yeah, I like George. He was really good up in RGC a few years ago. He's a Wrexham boy, and fair play. He's come from Doncaster, if I'm remembering correctly, into the Dragon setup. And whenever he was asked, he's done a good job. Came to us, actually his performances against us is like, okay, this is a good bloody player, but yeah. Come to us on loan, and the moment I saw he was released by the Dragon, it was like, we don't have a third hooker, a third senior hooker. We need that position filled. Now, I know there's people who are going to be like, oh, well, Harry Thomas is going to be missing out on game time and blah, blah, blah. No. I don't see that happening. I see Elias, McKee, and Roberts working as a tandem, as in, Roberts will only play when needed, when those two need a break or whatever. And Harry Thomas and even Isaac Young, they're going to get the games that they're meant to have regardless. And then, if they play well, they get an extra game or two. But, I'm really happy that we actually got 3 senior hookers again, because it was so bad having to sign loan players at the
for the start of the season.
Yeah.
When 2 players are injured, 2, not 3 or 4 in a single position, 2, you should be more than able to cover that. So,
but also then seeing like towards the end of the season, like Elias playing like 80, 70 odd, just knowing that Manus isn't 100% fit or Harry Thomas is on the bench, and it feels like they don't really trust him to come on and see a game out.
It hurts. Like it goes back to what we saw from Peel in the past, just not using the subs bench. And I've said it on you plenty of times, being a sub, coming on for 5 minutes and making a mistake is a lot more beneficial than being left on the sidelines. If you're not gonna trust these players for a handful of minutes, what are you telling them? And these are kids who are really, really influenced at sub 23 years old. Hardy he's turned 21 something like 6 weeks ago. So we're still talking a kid in terms of front rowers and forwards even.
Yep. And then Cullen Grace, not announced yet, but by all accounts, a player with bags and bags of talent. Looks like he's going to be a backup to Fletch, and he's just missed a whole season injured, which is why he's not playing for the Crusaders no more. But unlike the boys that we've signed from, New Zealand recently, this guy was actually a regular for a Super Rugby team, and he's still very young.
Yeah, 26 years old. You've got at least 6-7 years in the tank. managed properly even more. This is the guy that kept Fletcher out of Crusaders.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting dynamic when he arrives, when he's officially announced. So because it is June 1st, so that means within 30 days, everyone should be starting to land and make their way to Llanelli.
So that's all of the signings that I've got down.
So there are a few potential signings that we're waiting on in the coaching department.
Yeah, there's the guy from St Helens.
Eamon O'Carroll. I mean, rugby league defence coaches, there seems to be a decent track record of them coming over. So, I'm a little annoyed that we're going for someone who doesn't have experience in union, but you counteract with coming from St Helens. You're coming from a club with top end pedigree in their sport. Then what was it? Boris what was his name?
Stankovic.
So Leicester have had a good scrum for practically the entirety of their existence.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy did well. I don't know how much influence he had, but he did one Nicky Smith. So
no, but he wasn't there. I think it's been over-egged how long he was actually at Leicester for. He wasn't there for very long.
So, yeah, I mean, we do need a scrum coach. I mean, I wouldn't have been against Albert taking that role on top of the line out. The worry for me is we were linked. Not the fact that we were linked with the forwards coach that we were linked with is Richard Cockrell. And
I think we've dodged a bullet there.
I don't think we've more than dodged a bullet. I think the entire, we were digging our own grave. If we had pulled Cockrell in, that is not the type of rugby I ever want to see us play.
He's just got he's going to go from head coach of Georgia to assistant coach at Scarlets. It would have ended in tears, 100%. He's too big of an ego to work under Dwayne Peel. It's not going to happen.
It wouldn't even be under Dwayne Peel, though. It'd be under Dwayne Peel, under Nigel Davis. Like, that is not happening. And I think that's probably one of the sticking points. He was like, I'm not answering to bloody so-and-so.
He very rarely leaves anywhere
better.
Most of the places that he leaves are in a mess.
But
I think Edinburgh fans rate him, but
think how much bigger Cordo's arms would be by the time he's done with being with us, though. He would look majestic.
So what you're saying is Cordo would with Richard Cockrell would turn into an 8.5. He'd slowly migrate towards the forwards.
Yeah, I think so. I think we could imagine. I think we could imagine him at hooker by the end of Cocker's being with us.
Throwing him in with them arms. Bloody hell, Cordo.
And it's
over the far touch line.
and he's thrown it straight out again.
So I think we've dodged a bullet, not getting Richard Cockrell.
Yeah. It does leave gaps. I mean, looking at if we're saying Boris and Eamon are...
and Sanjay as well, skills coach.
Yeah, I suppose.
What's Sanjay's... What is aerial coaching in rugby? Jump and catch it. Like, how hard can it be?
It's under 12 stuff. And you work on it every single year, all the way through. And hopefully by the time you hit 18, you know how to catch a bloody ball.
No, I mean, for one moment, like, haven't England just brought in an aerial skills coach just in this moment as well? Like, it's all...
Shit. And also, it can't go more than 5 minutes without appointing a new coach. He gets jitters if he doesn't do it. I've got to announce a squad and appoint a new coach.
Like, I've got no problem. Yeah. I got no problem with having more specified coaching and more specified coaches, but the main team needs to be sorted first. We have say that Dwayne stays on as head coach. We don't have an attack coach. We don't have a backs coach. We don't have a forwards coach. Those are three massive positions, and that's just getting your baseline done. That's without going into your more finer positional stuff, your scrum, your line out, your contact skills, all these little extra bits you want to tweak. We don't have the main guys who you would then be assistant to. That's my worry. And with how seasons in the past have gone, you can tell that Dwayne is picking up at least 2 roles, at least.
With Nigel, does it really matter if Dwayne's title changes when he is basically attack coach in all but name only?
I honestly, Nige isn't doing any on-field coaching, and I think that's the issue we got. I don't think enough responsibility has been taken off Dwayne just because of how the end of season went.
It feels like he's back picking the team.
Yeah. Obviously, we've said in previous weeks as well. So it will. It's wait and see, unfortunately, for a lot of this, because we could be well off it. It could have been for, I don't know, some random reasons. Maybe Knight said, you know what, I'm going to give Dwayne the benefit. I'm going to pick a team that he would pick, rather than making his own little tweaks or whatever.
What would Dwayne do?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe... shit,
we've
lost.
That's mean. True, but mean. Yes. It's just the glaring gaps in our coaching ticket that need to be solved before we go looking for these additional assistant coaches.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of the agenda.
Yeah, we've gone on quite a while.
To the end of the season.
Yeah, we've gone on quite a while tonight. Obviously, the intervention at the part was desperately required, and we've been having an arm of when to do this for the last 6 months. So I'm glad we managed to do it today. We choked up quite a lot, but
I'm glad we were able to just tie it in with something functional like this podcast recording.
Yeah, there's now going to be evidence out there that we tried. That's all we can do. That's all you can do in life. Just try. But yeah, so John there with HG Rugby and Big M signing out for the season. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right, tell us we're fucking idiots. We really don't care now. See you next season. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.